Ask the Mayor. Your chance to ask the Mayor of Weymouth questions about the town and or anything else that you have concerns about. Ask the Mayor is pre-recorded. And now, Ask the Mayor with Bob Hedlund.
Well, we're back to another episode of Ask the Mayor. And Robert, you may notice I am unconspicuously, if I can say that word, dressed in green for three specific reasons. A, we were on the cusp of St. Patrick's Day, which we'll all be enjoying, of course, in a couple of days. Secondly, it is the advent of the spring season. We are here in the month of March all of a sudden, and spring is knocking on the door. But most importantly, I wore the green so that Jeffrey could perhaps camouflage me. I'm officially prepared to enlist in the Mayor Hedlund Army as we look to take over the Gulf of Weymouth. And I would like to say, of all your press hijinks and handiwork, you've done a great job promoting the town and yourself at different points. Have you ever gotten more attention from any singular issue regarding this town or anything in your political career as you have when you annexed the Gulf of Weymouth?
Your question, or is that a question?
That's the citizen advocate inserting. I have me and this fella have certain privileges.
That would be George Washington.
Yeah, well, that's so appropriate is Uncle Bob wants you to recruit. Will there be a draft? There's so many questions we have here, Robert.
First of all, spring will have sprung by the time this airs. Secondly, no, I have not. That post, 11 o'clock at night, I got home. I had driven through North Weymouth. It was on my mind. I've explained this before. You know, I grew up over on the Hingham side of the back river, right at across from Weymouth Neck.
Jeff Cummings' neighborhood, we like to call that.
And, you know, thinking about the work we're doing down on the coastline. We have about 5, 6, 7 projects down there.
And looking great.
And capital projects, you know, major projects. And I said, is that Hingham Bay or Weymouth Bay? I couldn't remember. And I grew up on the water over there.
Sure. I didn't even know it had a title.
And I knew the islands, Sheep, Grape, and Slate, territorially are part of Weymouth.
Another fun fact.
And then when I got home, I'm trying to answer your question, and then when I got home, I looked it up and I said, it's Hingham Bay. That's not right. We preceded the creation of Hingham by 11 years. Those islands are ours. And I kind of riffed off the Trump thing, threw a comment out there. I never imagined it would just go viral like that. I mean, there were like 900 shares of my post. And then the TV stations all you need is one TV station to pick up on it, as you know.
Sure.
And then they all follow suit and, you know, jump on board. And it just took off. And now the T-shirts, and it's turned into a great thing because they presented the first check last week. We're putting that into the legal entity we take it in through is the Mayor's Beautification Fund. But some of those funds in the Beautification Fund are going to help finish off the project that you see going on outside here at Town Hall.
Excellent.
Which is enhancing the Ralph Halbert Amphitheater. There's a tribute. We'll unveil Memorial Day for our 5 Medal of Honor recipients. So it ends up good cause.
Oh my gosh, I just love this. It's the best.
I hope to be a recipient of some of that beautification money myself. I'm looking for a new hairdo. And Robert, I would humbly suggest to you that story has gone internationally, my friend, and I'll tell you the reason why I suspect that. On my cell phone, on the browser, when I type in Google, it was the top story, above the fold, as we say, on my Google browser. So that means that's not customized to me. That went out to the free world. So I would suggest, did you get any calls from? There have been some stories from Weymouth that have made the London Times. Did you get any? Have you got anybody tracking that? Do you know if it went out any further than the local market?
There's some national magazine that I was unaware of called The Week.
I subscribe to The Week.
It's in there.
I'll look for it. I'll bring you the copy of it. A left-leaning Bible for all you Dems out there.
Appropriately enough, it's the edition that has Putin on the cover with a glass of wine.
I'll bring that to you. I have it in my home. Yeah, no kidding. It's kind of a summary of all the news of the world. They give you little snippets.
Clearly, you're not reading it thoroughly, cover to cover.
Well, it's so involved. I'm telling you, it literally has it reduces like every story's articles from every newspaper in the world into a little format.
Great. Now, do we have any questions this week, Jim?
No, and we do. But before we get started, and for those of our viewers who are interested in joining the Hedlund militia,
Weymouth militia,
the Weymouth militia, I did, as I'm prone to do, create a theme song for the militia. May I offer it out as a 30-second recruitment commercial here?
It's up to the producer, yes or no. She said no. No, Jeff's got a digitized version he'll work into the show.
Okay, is that fair to say,
All right,
Jeff?
yeah.
All right,
Now
here we
get
go.
to some
All right, so
questions.
we're moving forward.
By the
We
way, in addition to the T-shirts that are being sold and the proceeds, all of the proceeds after the cost going towards the project. Montilios has cookies in your neighborhood.
Excellent.
Gulf of Weymouth
Say no
cookies,
more.
and half the proceeds for that are going to the project. And I guess someone's doing bumper stickers now, so it's a little bit crazy. And there's a rumor, not confirmed yet, that one of the two or the breweries are collaborating on a Gulf of Weymouth IPA.
So we want to remind everybody.
Are you going to be able to depart from your cheap, mass-produced American light beers to try one if it comes out?
Probably not. But as a friendly reminder, Uncle Bob wants you. And as a friendly close, Robert, I was a lieutenant in the Salvation Army for a number of years, and I would like to volunteer my military expertise as this progresses down the line. All right, Robert. Questions, the town. What's happening? The old Lynne's variety is coming to the fore from Jack and May Conley, personal friends and just darn good folks, solid Weymouth citizens, who arguably have the largest family in this town. I think they have 7 kids. All right, hello, Mayor Hedlund. Can you please let us know what is
7?
They literally have 7.
I guarantee there's families with bigger.
Oh, no kidding, in this day and age?
The Olahans, for instance.
Oh, I don't
what
know.
What do they got, like 9?
Oh, no kidding.
25.
Okay. Jeez, I thought anything more than 2 was a big
My
family.
friend, the
these days.
Marino family, they had 16 at one time.
Holy smokes! Wow. Okay.
All from the same mother.
That's important. They're breeders. All right, Robert. The old Lynne's variety from Jack and May Conley. Hello, Mayor Hedlund. Can you please let us know what is being built on the property of the old Lynne's variety at 915 Washington Street? Thank you so much, May Conley. And May was kind enough to, it says attached.
A new Lynne's variety.
The new Lynne's, is that what it is?
That's the shortest answer.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on.
That's the shortest answer in the history.
Is that right? And it says photo attached. I didn't know if they were the ones who sent that, or it looks like you have an architectural drawing here. So this actually is just being replaced with another convenience
Shortest
store.
answer in the history of Ask the Mayor.
Wow, no kidding, huh? No apartments.
I'm not sure if they're
nothing.
keeping the name, but a new convenience store.
All right, well, that's going to be great. Why did they decide to
Because
rip
a
on
car
the-
drove through the front of the building and
that
destroyed it.
right there. And I apologize to them for that. I'd like to.
You avoid Washington Street. I know you come the other way.
Yeah, in fact, I do. But cannolis across
It
the street.
was the shortest question in the history of Ask the
All right, here we
Mayor,
go.
not anymore.
Right, then we're moving forward. As you say, I know rapidity is your goal here. Robert, from Michelle Holland. Hello, Mayor Hedlund of the Gulf of Weymouth. I have lived my whole life in this beautiful town and city. Why can't we put up signs by Whitman's Pond saying duck crossing? Lake Street needs to be repaved and Lake Street needs to be repaved. Is this on the to-do list? Let's get rid of Comcast. Wow, we're touching a lot of bases here. Thanks for listening, Michelle Holland. All right, Robert, one at a time. Do you agree?
I got
the
him.
towns are
I got him.
beautiful?
Well, Lake Street is on the paving schedule for this coming year. I don't know what the connection is. Oh, well,
When's my street going to be on the darn?
I don't know where she wants the duck crossing at Whitman's Pond. I assumed it when you read the question initially that it was on Middle Street because that creates a tie-up a lot. It's not ducks, unfortunately. It's an invasive species known as rats with wings, otherwise known as Canada geese. And I wish Trump would put a tariff on Canada geese because when you were a little kid, they only stopped here to eat a couple pieces of grass and continue to South America.
Sure.
But after people started feeding the invasive species, they said, why do I have to fly all the way to South America? I can hang out in the northeastern United States and poop everywhere, all over playing fields.
It's why I moved here.
So I don't know where the duck crossing thing is that she wants, but it would be a cutesy thing. I'm trying to take signs down. There's too much sign clutter in the town of Weymouth.
Oh, no
Every
kidding.
time I turn around, the state's putting up new signs on our property. Planning department, kind of running amok. There's state mandates on signage. There's too many signs in Columbian Square. We did nice work aesthetically improving things. There's too much clutter of signs. But if I can determine where the significant duck crossing is, we would consider putting up a cute sign that says, caution duck crossing.
I think you're right where you presumed it was on Middle Street because Pete Fleming, who I've referenced on more than one occasion at Butts, Whitman's Pond, he called me not so long ago saying that those geese coming by the gazebo are definitely an issue.
I'm not
into
putting a
traffic
geese
there.
crossing up because I would hope people might.
Yeah.
No, don't
Help
pick
us
at
out.
me.
Help us out.
I don't want to get in trouble like Bill Hedlund did in the town of Braintree. A distant cousin was Park and Rec director. They had an infiltration problem at the golf course. He got the state to allow a hunt, where hunters came in and blew the geese away. And the Patriot Ledger, right before one of my elections, thank you, Patriot Ledger, ran a headline that said, "Activists protest Hedlund geese hunt." So anyway, next question.
You can't
Let's
eat
go.
those things. No, there's a couple elements here. Lake Street needs to be repaved.
This is the most plotting show in history, but go ahead.
Lake Street needs to be repaved. Is this on the to-do
I
list?
said that already. I answered it. Rewind.
Okay.
Well, Lake Street is on the paving schedule for this coming year. I don't know what the connection is. Oh, well,
When's my street going to be on the darn? And let's get rid of Comcast.
we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Do you three support
The
that?
Comcast question's been answered a lot.
Okay.
I mean, FiOS is here and all that, but nobody wanted to come in and wire the town to compete with Comcast.
When you were talking about them shooting those geese, so you can't eat those geese, right? They're not for edible consumption, are they? When people are shooting them.
Well, I don't know about eating them. I do know that their waste is toxic
Oh, no kidding.
and causes problems.
That's why I stopped eating it. All right, Robert.
And the Canada geese droppings are our biggest source of water quality impact in the town of Weymouth.
Wow, so we do not want those little flying pigeon
Wish
rats.
they would go back to South America.
Wow.
Maybe we can get Trump to deport them too.
You have a hotline here, right to his office? All right, Robert, this is a comment from Facebook. But, all right, I guess this is still the one you want to
She brought it
censor.
in.
That's okay. We
take them all.
We've said more than one occasion, we do not see these questions. Apparently you saw this one, I did not, but here we go.
She wanted to censor it, and I said, I don't.
If
If it had to do with me, I would have had to censor it.
But this is a comment from Facebook. But you still have that loudmouth boob Jim adding foolish commentary. His conduct is truly not funny and denigrates an otherwise well-intended program. I must concur, Robert. You've had so many different co-hosts. When is this my final show?
I get my share of criticism throughout the week. It's nice to see someone else getting some. But you know what's ironic about this question? Can I just...
You're going to frame it. It's going to be... See, wait a minute. I think we found the author of the question from Anonymous.
No, his name's here.
Can I see? Do I know? Do I know? I'll be looking for him.
John No.
John Reddish.
No, it's not him. I would just answer the question by saying, it's a comment, not a question, but loudmouth boob,
The shoe fit.
foolish commentary,
2 for 2.
not funny,
Oh, come on. I'm kind of funny.
denigrates an otherwise well-intended program.
Well, I apologize to the cast.
The irony is that all 4 of those are on full display, like to the extent we've never seen before on 125 episodes. He came in here in full-blown boobery today.
I'll be the first to admit, I came in with the bee in my bonnet. My personal friend, Robert Hedlund, told me about a week and a half ago, hey, call me on Tuesday. So I called on Tuesday. Then he said, text me on Thursday. I texted him on Thursday. He's been ghosting me, and we're not even dating, for heaven's sake. So, all right, listen, for the record.
The boobery quotient meter just went up another notch.
All right, for the record.
And his name's on there. Do you know?
I can't say I know the
Page 2.
The gal.
Do you know him?
I can't say I do. Would you like me to say it out loud? I'd be happy to.
I don't care.
For anyone who happens to come across Mr. Paul Reed, please feel free to let him know that you support his point of view or oppose it. Or more importantly, I would like to offer the chair to Mr. Reed. For, of course, anyone who thinks that they could do a better job.
Guest Inquisitor, Mr. Reed.
The door's wide open.
And it'll serve,
Come on down.
And it will serve as an example on how to run an efficient, uplifting, professional show. Come on. Well, I absolutely would have him on.
All right, we're going to presume that he is a whispering boob who offers prudent commentary and that he is funny and complimentary.
Next question.
Okay, as otherwise, well, well, by the way, when I walked in, Robert adorned me with this designation. Can you make, is this connected to?
I just thought it would go good with you.
And so I got an award when I walked in. This is typical.
It was on the counter
politicians
over there. I
for you.
just thought it would add to your
Typical
shirt.
political stuff. They put you up and then they knock you down. Boy, holy smokes. All right, Robert. The position is open. Let's just say that. We were just discussing this, by the way. I've been, 150 hours? I'm the only guy not getting paid on the job here? Yeah, I'd say you're getting your money's worth. Let's just say that much. All right, Robert from Tracy Brennan. Hello, Mayor Hedlund. As it approaches Valentine's Day, I presume she means 26, I have a personal question for you. Are you currently single? Asking for a friend, of course. I enjoy watching your show. I learn a lot from you. Thanks for all your dedication to Weymouth. Hope to hear from you soon. From Tracy. You get love letters, I get hate loads. What's wrong with this picture?
Just say my status has been in flux, and by the time the show airs, who knows?
That sounded like a yes to me, folks.
Next
What do you
question.
think? I understand over the weekend that you had a romantic moment for an hour and 5 minutes. Then I realized it was daylight savings time and it was only 5 minutes, but hey, what the heck?
Well, it would all depend on...
Wait a minute, that goes into the personal file over here, I think.
No, it says asking for a friend.
Okay.
It depends on who the friend is.
All right, listen. Come on down. All right, maybe she could be a guest host as well. All right, hey, Mr. Mayor, just curious on the building construction of the new footbridge going from the
Hey,
MBTA
we got a serious question
parking lot
here.
to the Pingree soccer fields. Great idea all the way. Your former boyfriend, Jason Thayer, is back in action. Thank you, Jay Bird. And now everybody agrees that's a great idea, and thank you for getting that done. Tell
I
us about
stand
it.
corrected, and it's not a question, it's a comment, so thank you.
Yeah.
Jason, we were concerned, actually, it's a good
No,
point
it's
to make.
excellent, yeah.
The
People
last
psyched about
show,
that.
hold on, the last show, we addressed the background of the project, and I indicated that we didn't know when the opening would be based on impacts to the herring run. Work has to stop when the herrings start. We just got an update since the last taping from the contractor that they will in fact beat the deadline and have this completed before the herring run starts.
Excellent.
So we will have it open. It'll be operational for the peak soccer season now too. You know, we won't have to wait until the herring stop. So we're excited about that, and we are doing a development update, which will be probably airing in April, and we'll be covering that. So.
I know this has been kicking around for a while, Bob, and everybody supports it. Great idea, great job getting it done. Are you? Was this originally a town idea, or did people write in and request that? You know, some of the soccer moms or what have you. What was the genesis of this? Do you recall?
Initially, because of the demand at that facility, it took off beyond our wild expectations.
It's been awesome.
A lot of bookings. The use is so significant that the user fees more than cover the maintenance and such. In fact, it contributes to a little bit of, I think, a revolving fund for maintenance, you know, capital improvements too.
Wow, well, cash
so
flows,
it's been a great project. Amazing all the whining that happened when we started it, but it's been great. But as a result of the success, obviously, it impacted parking in Jackson Square. We cut a deal with the MBTA. They allowed us to use part of the MBTA lot. And then we found people weren't using it because they didn't want to walk another, whatever.
It was a haul.
They like to watch their kids run around to get exercise, but they don't like to walk themselves. And we looked into the feasibility of pedestrian bridge. That's one I worked on directly, actually, with talking to Lieutenant Governor. We got a lot of help from former colleague Matt Amarello, who works for CDR McGuire, a consulting firm. He pointed us in the direction of some grant money that was kind of newly created, small bridge program. We had to really work with the Lieutenant Governor to convince them that this bridge met the criteria of what we're trying to do, but because it linked up access to an MBTA parking lot, it helped us get the grant. I think the original grant was $500,000, and then we pieced the rest of it together through other funding sources. 3 or 4 different funding sources, including like CPA and such. So it's ready to go. It did get held up a couple of years. We talked about that. There was a citizen's appeal to the Department of Environmental Protection, which impacted our permitting. And because of the herring run and timing of the work that has to occur, we lost a couple of years on that.
But I would say if you played word association with most citizens of the town of Weymouth during the course of your mayoralship, if that's the right word, if you said Hedlund, I think most people would say the redevelopment of the parks and the squares is your finest, among your finest accomplishments. Was that one of the first parks that you did over?
Yeah, actually, we'll talk about that when we do the development update. There's an interesting backstory with that.
Okay.
The town had started some work on that and gave up.
Oh, no kidding.
And I inherited something that $250,000 was already spent on, but they had shelved it.
Wow.
So we'll talk about that later. One other benefit of this bridge, which I didn't even really think about, once the bridge was placed and we publicized it, and I think you guys did a drone footage of it, a lot of people commented who bring their kids to school that walk to school. And it provides a nice shortcut for them. And that hadn't even been on my radar screen. I mean, I knew that it was a benefit to the soccer field users. It also is a link in our Back River Trail system.
Wow.
And it's a really important link. It's linking up both sides of the river. And when we get our hands finally from the MBTA and the Durante property, it's a link to that. So there's 3 different types of benefits to that.
And of course, the great cousin David Lenahan on the post, manning the job down there, keeping it nice and tidy for us all. It's a win-win, it sounds like. All right, Robert, electronic billboards from Ashley Dickerman. Hi, Mayor Hedlund. Love the new electronic boards at Tufts Library in Legion Field. Curious to know who runs them and how a request can be submitted to get an event added to it. Thanks, Ashley Dickerman.
Harrison Carter in the mayor's office.
Harrison Carter. All right. Well, I think you broke your record for sure. I'm not familiar with these boards, though, Bob. These are new enhancements?
There's a giant electric billboard in front of the DPW on Winter Street.
Yeah,
Do
I've
you know
seen
where
that. I
Winter
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
That's similar. Okay, wow.
Yeah.
All right,
In fact,
excellent.
I think they were playing your song on it, a video of your song the other day.
Widescreen, I presume. All right, hey, Mayor, whose idea was...
Oh, no.
All right, this is the theme of the show. I'm glad I dressed appropriately. Hey, Mayor, whose idea was it to turn our local waters into the Gulf of Weymouth? That was a funny respite to the dreary days of winter. A lot of folks got very creative with it online. Jimmy Hurley.
Jimmy who?
Jimmy Hurley. Another fan.
Well, we already answered that earlier in the show.
Yeah, and what a blast, huh?
And the only thing I'll say is what made it very entertaining. I mean, I thought my original post was kind of clever, talking about the New York transplants who have colonized Hingham that work in financial services and all that.
Awesome.
It was fun to zing Hingham a little bit. What enhanced this was the comments that people jumped in and added to the mix. Was really a lot of clever comments from people in Weymouth weighing in. And then Hingham responded, which kept the fuel going.
Excellent. With the tongue in the cheek, I haven't seen the Hingham response. Have they been laughing with us?
Well, somebody just pointed out yesterday that there's a Gulf of Weymouth Facebook page where all this stuff is being archived, if you will.
Wow.
So I'd check it out, Jimmy. It's kind of funny, and it's keeping the fuel on the fire a little bit. But Hingham keeps responding, and I have to say their responses are kind of lame. but they did get us on one thing. They issued a proclamation, and they are attempting to name the Weymouth Back River the Hingham Back River now. So I suggested yesterday, and somebody picked up on it, that we are going to impose a 25% tariff on all garden center items leaving Lowe's that head south on the Weymouth Back River Bridge, effective the first day of spring.
Well, more
So
to
check
follow,
out that Facebook page. It's Gulf of Weymouth. It's very clever. Whoever has a hand in that, I give them a lot of credit. They're very clever.
And it's been a blast. There's no two ways about it. And of all, I just can't believe how the legs, as they say, this thing has had. Like you said, you
Snowball down a hill.
I just love this.
We want to remind everybody as we come to the conclusion of another episode of Ask Mayor, please keep the questions coming in at askmayorbob@gmail.com. Keep all these questions coming in at askmayorbob@gmail.com. They are appreciated for sure. And anything to stop the big mouth boob from carrying on any further would be contributing to that. All right, Robert. Oh, boy. Jeff, talk about a stitch in time. Hi, Mayor. Now that Columbian Square has been up and running for a few months, does the town have any traffic data that supports more traffic accidents at that intersection? Anonymous. Before you answer, I can tell you it certainly has added about 8 minutes to my commute to the mayor's office as I was in a 20-car lineup at 12:55
So what are you saying? There was never traffic in Columbian Square before?
There was never more than 2 or 3 cars coming up from Union Street, coming from my end in the morning. In the morning, commuting to work, there'd be a lineup of maybe 10 or 12 cars. But now it's at like 12 in the afternoon. There was literally, I counted them, there was 15 cars in front of me. Which, listen, it's not always that way. In fairness, it's not always that way.
I would guess, I don't know, there's no traffic data. I would guess there's less accidents.
I've never seen an accident since you've redesigned it. I have not seen a single accident, aside from the guy going through the
Now there's your scientific data right there.
Well, it's anecdotal, if nothing else. We did see the car go through the manicurist shop there, but that wasn't related to an accident.
They
per se,
blamed
right?
the work on that, too.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny, Jeff, because of all
How that happened is beyond me, because they had planed the street, so the curb was actually higher.
I know it. I damaged my truck on it. Exactly.
Think about this. There was new curbing put in.
Which is about 2 feet tall.
You only had the base coat of the road down, so the height was even higher than it's been traditionally on the curb because the top coat wasn't even on.
It cost me $700 when I pulled into that with my truck bumper.
The person was able to get that car over that curb. And through.
It was temporary.
But listen, we've talked about it before. There are some additional tweaks coming to the square.
As you said, yeah.
Timing. We have problems with some of the towns and not following protocol with their ambulances, tripping the light. They're supposed to be using a particular direction depending upon what town is sending it. The police chief and fire chief are kind of riding herd on and the president of the hospital riding herd on those towns. There's a right on red where you come from that shouldn't be there that's going to be changed.
Excellent.
On Union Street, when you want to go right,
exactly. Yeah.
That should be a right on red. Right now it isn't.
Yeah.
The police are looking at that. I would say final tweaks would probably be in place sometime this spring.
And of course, to reiterate, my big concern is they clearly have X'd out, one of those 20 by 20 spots where all the streets intersect. People aren't supposed to park there.
They're called scary bump outs.
Is that what they? Yeah, and people continue to, impede or block, the traffic from coming and going. I'll have to say, in fairness to the process, it definitely looks great. I'll keep the jury out, shall we say? It was an enhancement, to the eye. It looks great. Jeff, I looked at an old episode of Ask the Mayor not so long ago, from 2 years ago, where you had the construction footage, and I already forgot what it used to look like, to be honest with you, with all the great enhancements. So, net, it's definitely a positive. Robert, it looks like the boys are telling us, the boys ain't getting.
I'd love to talk about traffic data sometime. Yeah. We do have some statistics that show where a lot of the traffic through Weymouth is going.
No kidding, huh? To my house? I'll never forget when our great friend Kevin Riley, who we lost, who helped develop the University Sports Complex in Hanover, he had authorized a traffic survey on, is that 53 that they use on? And I think it was like 500,000 cars a week go down that road. I'm like, holy smokes, I have no idea the volume that you guys deal with. You wouldn't suspect that some of these roads.
When you were a young boy, there were more chickens in Norwell than people.
Oh, no kidding, huh?
And, we've had tremendous growth around us, and, most of the traffic on 53 is going elsewhere.
Yeah. Well,
Hingham has had explosive growth, more population growth than Weymouth. And how do you get from Boston to Hingham? You go through Weymouth, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
It's the whole South Shore.
And of course, we'll teach. I've directed so many people to the segment that you offered on ADUs in the last show that we did. That's certainly going to be coming our way too, obviously. And that that you did a great job defining what those are to a lot of different folks. So more traffic coming, more residents coming. All right, then we're going to have to wrap this episode up. We want to remind everybody, please continue to send the questions to askmayorbob@gmail.com. And thanks for tuning in. And any final thoughts here, Mr. Mayor, as we wrap this up?
We need a song. What do you got?
Hingham Bay, Hingham Bay, that's the name that's been changed, so they say, to the Gulf of Weymouth, the Gulf of Weymouth, Mayor Hedlund has proclaimed. The harbor men are not our friends. They try to steal, we said no deal, we must defend. We're coming over, hide your Range Rovers, and we won't be back till they call it the Gulf of Weymouth. Ha Mary, I got it.
If you have a question, please email the mayor at askmayorbob@gmail.com. That's askmayorbob@gmail.com. Maybe your question will be answered on the next episode of Ask the Mayor.